Hello, friends. Well, my name is Sunil Ranjan, and I feel it my responsibility as an Indian citizen to speak my heart out. And we achieved independence way back in 1947, and so much has changed over the years. And our freedom fighters laid down their lives for an independent India. And when we think about the growth of the nation, we are often disturbed. And there is a lot of shouting about what happened in the last 70 years since India got independence. Well, things change everywhere across the world. But if you are all the time blaming the governments that came into power earlier, there is no solution in sight. So the problem is that instead of blaming, we have to see how our nation can develop. There is crime and violence all over the country today, and this crime and violence is the result of the wrong message that is going to the people of India by the central government. The people who are in power at the cabinet level, at the state level, and the Prime Minister himself, all are responsible for this mess. I am speaking this boldly because I feel that I must speak my heart out. Because calculations can be done, manipulations can be done. And I don't believe in calculations and manipulations. I want to speak my heart out. So there is a lot of violence and crime, and this rise in violence and crime is the result of the wrong message that is going to the masses, because the people are not being able to understand how well India is developing. The poor are living a wretched life today, even after so many years of independence. And the people who promise very good things during the elections, the contestants who get into power, they promise rosy things, but nothing happens much. Still, we have the schools in a dilapidated state all over the country. The government schools are in a mess, but the governments are not doing anything except promising that things will be better. And when the votes are given, then they forget everything and they sit in the corridors of power at the center in Delhi or in the state capitals of India. Now, I want to say that the message that is going to the people is not right, because unless we feel inspired, we cannot think or we cannot discuss whether the message that is going to the people is right. So the problem is that if we are not inspired for the growth of our nation, this means we are not getting the right message from the government. And once the people come into power, they enjoy the luxury at our cost. We are paying the taxes, we are doing everything so that something happens in our country. Every Indian is a patriot. So there is no need to be certified by anyone that a person born in India is not a patriot. But the thing is that this patriotism must be real. If a person is working honestly in his office, he is a true patriot. Patriot doesn't mean that you are hoisting the flag and you are just talking about the growth of the nation. But if you are doing your job honestly, you are a true patriot, because in some way or the other you are contributing to the growth of the nation. Next is glorification of the nation. We are always talking about the glory of India, the rich past of India, and the leaders, especially the political leaders, they are never tired of talking about the growth of the nation. And these are the flowery talks that they deliver from the political platforms, but nothing happens much. So a common man today stands frustrated in India today because he or she is not happy with the growth of the nation. Next is, there is corruption all over the country, and of course there are state agencies that are working, but there is so much corruption. And even if we talk about the legal system, when a person dies, then the judgment comes. What kind of a mess have we today, and what have the governments been doing so far? So in many foreign countries, especially in Europe and America, justice is delivered very shortly, or there is a time frame for that. But in India, there is nothing in sight, and even the Chief Justices of India have not felt better about the system that runs in India. The legal system is in a very bad shape. There is no justice in India today, and if there is justice, that is in the pocket of the rich. The poor people are nowhere. So this is the main problem. And we are talking about the values, our cultural values, our rich past. But the thing is, where are those values except in the textbooks, and the students, the young children are dreaming to make a nice India, a wonderful India, a charming India that could be inspiration to all the countries of the world. Of course, we have had a very rich culture, but nothing has happened much over the years since India got independence, because we have not been honest enough to think about the growth of our country. The universities are in a mess all over the country, except for a few universities run by the central government. There is some hope there, but in the state governments, you see, unfair means are very common. So nothing happens, corruption is there everywhere. At every table you have to pay some money to get your work done. Is this the nation that our freedom fighters ever dreamed of? And the thing is, when we are talking about our culture means the way of life, what we inherit from our past, from our ancestors. And have we carried on with that culture, with the values that sustain our society? No. Honestly speaking, no, there is nothing as such, and there is aping of the West today, because we are monkeying whatever is happening in the West. And because of internet, you see, there has been a revolution all over the world today. So luxury has become the main priority in our country. Everybody is running to get some money anyhow. Of course, I understand money is very important, but when luxury dominates human mind, then where is the growth of the nation? Because the growth of the nation depends on the inspiring force that goes to the people of India. But the inspiration is badly missing, except for a few people, but they are sidelined by all the political stalwarts. This is the mess that we are living in. And so this is the condition in India today. In the name of religion, in the name of patriotism, people are fighting. There is Hindu-Muslim divide, and all are the same. We belong to one country. There must be no division because a person happens to be a Muslim, or a person happens to be a Hindu, or a person happens to be a Christian. We all are Indians. This sense of Indianness must be there within us. And I remember some time back there were traffic rules brought by the minister, and the traffic rules were so harsh that one had to pay money everywhere, and the policemen were alert, not because they were devoted to the duty, but because they were willing to earn more and more money anyhow. So the poor people, many men that I saw on television sets, they left their motorcycles, they left their cars and ran away because they were tortured by the system that forced traffic rules upon them. And every growth takes place gradually. A growth that takes place gradually and slowly, that has a better future. But what a mess we have made of our country. We are fighting in the name of religion, we are fighting in the name of caste. And the central government, whenever it is questioned, I am sorry, whenever it is questioned about the proper functioning of the government, it sidelines these questions and goes back to the divide of the society. The Hindus, the Muslims, the caste and all these factors, they promise so many rosy things, but you see the things happening in our villages. Villages are in a very bad shape. Children are swimming across rivers to attend the classes, but the governments don't care at all. This is what is happening in our country today. So the large number of people in India are living in villages. But what is happening in our villages? We are so fascinated by the glamour of the West that we sideline all these things, and we have begun to believe in the luxury of life. And this is not a good signal for the growth of a nation. So friends, I wanted to speak my heart out, so I made this small video. So until we meet again, thank you very much for watching and listening to me.